Good morning, YouTube. It's Kendra, and it's still pretty early in the morning. But I'm getting this video out here today in regards to um, not only cyberbullying, but bullying primarily in school and what that was like for me growing up. Inspired to do this video today in regards to my husband's video he made last night, and kind of went over his experience, how he handled coming across women that were larger size. So my experience was I had it pretty bad in school. I'm not gonna lie or sugarcoat it for you. It all started in kindergarten when I accidentally fell in the gym, and this is when I realized that other people saw me as fat. I fell down in the gym, made a big boom, and Kendall went boom. And that's when I noticed other people thought I was overweight. Um, got pretty bad 7th and 8th grade. I accidentally got my first suspension from school in the 7th grade because I believed I called someone a bitch for putting me down. By that time, in the 7th and 8th grade, was probably the worst years of my life. As I would wait in the line at the cafeteria school line getting your lunch together, there was these two boys named Isaac and Miguel. I still remember their names to this day. It's how badly it affected me. They would throw food at me in the cafeteria line. Every morning when I went into class, they would snicker to each other, but they didn't hide it. They made it very well known. They didn't keep quiet about it. They were very loud about it and what they had to say about me and what they thought about how I looked like and how overweight I was. I got so bad, I started eating my school lunch in the bathroom. These boys made me feel so ashamed of myself that I didn't want to show my face in the cafeteria or having to pick tables and play that game. I didn't want to be embarrassed anymore. And watching that video that my husband did last night brought up a couple of different feelings for me. Number one was kind of made me feel a little self-conscious. It takes me back to those times in the 7th or 8th grade where I feel like I have to watch myself. It made me feel scared because there are some things that is harder for me to do physically, whether it's stuff around the house or exercising. So it makes me fearful, it makes me self-conscious, but I know that he's my husband. I know that he loves me for who I am. But that video definitely did bring back some stuff for me last night. So by the time I reached the 9th grade, I was pretty much skipping school on a weekly basis, if not an everyday basis, every other day. I would find something else to do besides go to school because I just could not take the verbal and emotional abuse every day. And this was back when my dad's mom, my grandmother Stout, was still alive. And so I would skip school and I'd go hang out with grandma. We'd go on shopping sprees. I'd clean our house. And I would do anything but not go to school and take the abuse. I'd rather be around people who knew me, who loved me, and accepted me. So I'd hang out with grandma. Until one day, of course, I made the mistake of accidentally answering her phone. Because the person on the other side of that phone call was my mother. And that's when she found out I was skipping school, going to grandma's house every day. She actually tried to put me in juvenile detention center. But since my father wouldn't agree, it never happened. It's awfully loud today here at the coast. I apologize. Hopefully you guys are making this out okay. My father refused to put me in juvenile for just going to hang out with my grandmother. I was just going to hang out with my grandmother. I wasn't doing anything wrong besides not going to school. So he couldn't see himself disciplining me that hard over going, to see my grandmother. So that never happened. My mother was always more stricter kind of parent. My dad was always the more reasonable one. So if you are one of those kids making fun of these kids, don't do it. I hear today that there's actually a real consequence for your actions. I mean, you don't know this, but you're making that person so depressed and where they're embarrassed of who they are and what they look like. And I'm so glad that today there's so much anti-bullying groups and support out there that I never had when I was in my middle school and high school days. We didn't have that kind of support at all. It was, you went to the teacher did nothing about it. It was swept under the rug, or you were known as a tattletale, or, that is basically your fault. They didn't do anything about it. There's no consequences at all. Except for when, of course, the one who's being bullied takes, bites back, and then they get suspended. I remember the day I got suspended for calling that girl a bitch in the hallway. My dad and we went to Burger Bill and we got us some ice cream. That was my consequence for that. Us as human beings can only take so much before we snap. And so really think about before you speak. How are my words going to affect this person? How is it coming across? Is it going to hurt them in any way, shape, or form? And if it will, just don't say anything. Or try to get to know the person more. Maybe there's a reason why they're overweight. Maybe it's because childhood abuse. Maybe it's because it's a medical problem. It's so easy just to look at someone and just kind of make up your own story in your own head why they are the way they are. And so, hashtag no cyberbullying allowed on my channel or in my life. I will not take any kind of negativity. I've changed my life around so much in the past 12 months, 14 months, 15 months, where I'm almost at complete peace in my life. I say almost because no relationship is perfect and no marriage is perfect. And it's never going to be. But I have come a long way. I went from being with someone who called me every dirty word in the book, yelled and screamed at me on a daily basis, and oh man, I went through that for about 5.5 years with this boy. And Barton got me away from all that, so I don't have to worry about who I am, what I look like. All those things I dealt with in my childhood, I shouldn't have to deal with in my adult years. We're adults now. We're no longer in high school, and you either accept me for who I am, or you can just watch me as I walk away, and that's that. So, cyberbullying, not tolerated here, and my heart goes out to the ones that ever had to feel ashamed for even showing their face. I was ashamed for even wanting to go and get food in the cafeteria and sit down and eat a meal. And that's not okay. We're all human. We all have to eat. You shouldn't be ashamed over having a natural feeling that we get every day and that we have to satisfy that hunger. I was probably the lowest point of my life. Because of those days, I have no education. I'll be completely honest. I have no education whatsoever, which has had zero impact on my life, and I believe I got lucky. I found a great working at home job, and if you are interested, I mentioned a couple times in my video, we have the 2 years call center experience. I'm more than happy to help you get this job working from home, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, or just, always wanted to work at home to see what that would be like. It's a 100% legit company. You get direct deposit every other Friday, full and part-time hours available, and it's probably the best career I've ever had in my life. So I just want to make a video about bullying today. If you guys have any questions or concerns, comment below. Or if you want to show some love and support, comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our videos. We really appreciate the support, guys.